Bernie Sanders didn't just win, he won big. He won in every Minnesota congressional district, routing Hillary Clinton in a contest that almost everyone thought would be a close one. Sanders had predicted that he would do well if the turnout was big, and it was. There were long lines at caucuses. A number of precincts even ran out of ballots, allowing voters to write in their choice on index cards. Sanders' win came despite the fact that almost every prominent elected official in the state, including the governor, Senators Klobuchar and Clinton, all endorsed Hillary Clinton. The DFL party chair, who also had endorsed Hillary Clinton, insisted the result is not an embarrassment for the DFL establishment.
I don't think it's an embarrassment to anyone. Whether you support Secretary Clinton or Senator Sanders personally, you can be proud of what happened here in Minnesota tonight. Thousands of Minnesotans came out, many first-time and new participants to make their voices heard in this process.
Unlike your typical delegate who will cast their vote for the presidential nominee based on their constituent support, superdelegates have the choice of voting for who they want in office, and being that they make up 15% of the delegates voting, they absolutely have the power of choosing the presidential nominee. But today a vote was cast in an effort to end the superdelegate system altogether. The argument against superdelegates is coming to the forefront today.
It's important to stand up and be recognized and say, you know, something's not right, how can we change it?
During Wisconsin's primary, Bernie Sanders beat Hillary Clinton by about 13 percentage points.
If you're a Bernie supporter, you feel like the system worked against you.
But the vast majority of superdelegates have voted against the people's will. 6 of the 10 backing Clinton, 1 backing Sanders, and just 3 undecided.
Bernie Sanders won the state with 57% of the vote, yet we have the majority of the superdelegates in the state that are supporting Hillary Clinton.
And this is the driving force for today's vote, and it passed.
The Wisconsin State Democrats just voted to abolish the superdelegate system.
But the matter didn't go through unanimously.
A few strong minds sometimes are a better balance.
Some questioning whether it was the best decision for the party.
Sometimes those people who were voted in by popular vote have a better handle on individuals and issues that the general populace do not.
And while not everyone was on the same page on this matter at today's convention, it seems like most are prepared to back whoever the party endorses for the party's sake. Today's vote to end the superdelegate system is a non-binding resolution, meaning it's essentially advice for the National Democratic Party. And if it were to be supported on the national level, it wouldn't take effect until 2020. Keeping you connected with NBC 26, I'm Eric Crest.
Senator Sanders won the Minnesota caucuses. You have endorsed Hillary Clinton. You are a superdelegate. What do you make of the argument put forward by the Sanders campaign that superdelegates who represent states that Sanders has won should consider voting for the candidate supported by voters in their state?
You know, superdelegates are part of our system. I haven't read that in the rules, that interpretation.
Well, you can vote for whoever you want, but they're saying, shouldn't you, as a senator of Minnesota, follow the lead of the voters, the Democratic voters who turned out for the Minnesota caucuses?
I think Democratic voters who elected me to the Senate want me to exercise my judgment on who I think would be the best president of the United States, and I think that person is Hillary Clinton.
All right, Senator Al Franken.
Julian, I want to mention something else. In March, you launched a searchable archive for over 30,000 emails and email attachments sent to and from Hillary Clinton's private email server while she was Secretary of State. The 50,547 pages of documents span the time from June 2010 to August 2014. 7,500 of the documents were sent by Hillary Clinton herself. The emails were made available in the form of thousands of PDFs by the U.S. State Department as a result of a Freedom of Information Act request. Why did you do this, and what's the importance from your perspective of being able to create a searchable base?
Well, WikiLeaks has become the rebel library of Alexandria. It is the single most significant collection of information that doesn't exist elsewhere. in a searchable, accessible, citable form about how modern institutions actually behave. And it's gone on to set people free from prison, where documents have been used in their court cases, hold the CIA accountable for renditions programs, feed into election cycles, which result in the termination of, in some cases, or contributed to the termination of governments in some cases, taken the heads of intelligence agencies, ministers of defense, and so on. So, you know, our civilization can only be as good as our knowledge of what our civilization is. We can't possibly hope to reform that which we do not understand. So those Hillary Clinton emails, they connect together with the cables that we have published of Hillary Clinton, creating a rich picture of how Hillary Clinton performs in office, but more broadly, how the US Department of State operates. So, for example, the disastrous, absolutely disastrous intervention in Libya, the destruction of the Gaddafi government, which led to the occupation of ISIS, of large segments of that country, weapons flows going over to Syria, being pushed by Hillary Clinton into jihadists within Syria, including ISIS. That's there in those emails. There's more than 1,700 emails in Hillary Clinton's collection that we've released, just about Libya alone.
The one thing that Minnesota stood against was superdelegates. Minnesota wanted desperately to remove the superdelegates, and they still do. They're still working towards moving that. However, what we fail to realize is the fact that the party has to accept the changes. It's up to the party, it's not up to the people. And that's a huge problem. The Democratic Party does not serve the people. The people are serving the Democratic Party, giving them money, voting for them out of fear. Their entire rhetoric is based on, you owe us your vote. Vote blue no matter who is a huge concept that needs to be rewritten. It should not be vote blue no matter who. It should be vote policy over party. We need ethics. We need responsibility and leadership, and we need people to do the right things. In Minnesota, 12 superdelegates to 2 beat Bernie Sanders. In a state, Bernie Sanders overwhelmingly won in every single district. This shows the lack of respect for the voters. Rick Nolan and Colin Peterson voted for Bernie Sanders. Wikipedia established their vote. However, it looks like Keith Ellison voted for Hillary Clinton at the convention. So, I am skeptical if he did or not. I do not know. I was not there. I was not present for his vote. However, I do want to say that Wikipedia says that Keith Ellison voted for Hillary Clinton. 570 of these people made sure Hillary Clinton won. 400 of them before the election. 12 superdelegates. That's 120,000 votes. They make up 15 to 20% of the vote. We have a system that is completely rigged against its voters, and its voters know about it. Democratic voters are very aware that the superdelegates are what makes a candidate the nomination. We're not stupid, and we're awake to this, and we know that our votes don't count, or they don't in a popular vote. They don't. It doesn't matter who won the popular vote. It only matters who won the superdelegates. There were so many overwhelming masses for Bernie Sanders in Minnesota that they had to write their votes down on a cue card. There was probably way more Bernie voters in Minnesota, and they possibly did get purged, and they possibly did the provisional ballot thing, but you have to remember that the Democratic Party is in control of the voting system. Their voting process, they're in charge of it. Even your Board of Elections has catered to the DNC and the corporate Democrats, Hillary Clinton in 2016. Minnesota has shown promise. The people of Minnesota want to remove the superdelegates to give the state better elections. And the people of Minnesota are going to get that as long as they keep pressuring the party. Al Franken should not have been in a position to make any judgment calls regarding the safety welfare or what's good for the country.